I remember. I don't know why I remembered this, but I remember we left the time at this spot in particular because you could sleep at this time, and before Bedrock came out, you weren't able to turn rain off. So what
Ah,
we would leave it at this time because when it started raining, you could just
Yes,
sleep
yeah, I
and it
do.
would
I
stop the
remember that now.
rain.
Yeah, because it rained so much.
Uh-huh. Just rain. It literally rained
Yeah.
constantly. So that was the only way to stop it from raining.
Well, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I'd always have like a blue bed or something on me in my. Oh, can I check? I still have him. I still have him.
Oh
what
my
the?
god, you have the bone!
Yes.
I gave him Barty Crouch
About
so long
five
ago.
years. Honestly, this is about 5 years ago. I've
Also, it
kept him
remembers on the
safe.
map. That's funny.
Uh,
Oh, that's actually a good idea. We should hide the bones somewhere in the
Oh,
forest.
I have all the old Hogwarts banners.
yes, that's all I have in mind. Oh,
Oh, that's
Look at that.
wow.
bloop, bloop.
It's funny that the game remembers all this stuff.
Yeah, where you spawned and stuff. That's
Oh.
why. That's why I was shocked where I spawned.
Anyway,
Yes.
I'm keeping them.
Let's go.
hello everybody. You might be a little estranged to see that I'm not the one recording this video, so you can kind of see me from a different perspective. Today we're going to be doing a wonderful video on the history of the Hogwarts map, and I have with me Connor as well as Belkavu's the one doing the recording of this video. So hopefully this all works out and we don't have to record this more than once because that would suck. And yeah, so as you probably just realized after all this nonsense we were just talking for like 5 minutes to start off this video, it's going to be a trip down memory lane. We have multiple different versions of the Hogwarts that we're going to be looking at, and probably criticizing ourselves very harshly for the decisions we made. And just talking about a bunch of design decisions and stuff. And sort of seeing the lay of the land between the multiple different versions that we've released for download. Some of them you can't get anymore. Some of them you probably can. I don't know. The internet's and the internet they never let go of stuff. I did take these off MCPDL, but it should be pretty fun to look back on some of this stuff regardless, because it should be, I don't know. We've been meaning to do this video for a long time, so it's nice to actually be here to do this. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now, and we're going to get into it.
Let's go.
So first things first, the natural texture pack. This used to be the normal resource pack for this map, because you couldn't do custom resource packs on the Xbox version of the game. So for some reason I thought this would be the best resource pack for the map. And looking back at it now, I don't know if it's just because Bedrock is so dark, but it looks like shit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of a stone brick. No, it looks weird.
I won't criticize it because I still think it looks great.
I'm gonna
Ooh.
switch to day.
Oh,
now
nice.
that we've talked about the ugly time that we kept the map at. We did already do the weathering. I don't think any of this was done by tool though, because Belkov wasn't around in this version. This was all
No.
done by hand.
Nope.
I don't
wasn't
remember
born.
why we did it, but I just remember like one day it took us quite a few days to do, but we was like we got like even more detail, so we like punched blocks out randomly and just replaced them. It did take a long time.
It was because I installed Mr. Casperson's map and I saw that it was full of weathered blocks.
Yeah,
and I was like,
so
wow,
yeah,
that looks
that-
really cool. We should do that.
Yeah, and it it was just like another message. I woke up to like, yeah, we're doing this now. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll be on in half an hour. I just remember doing the astronomy tower, and God, did that take forever.
Well, we did like 3 different versions of the astronomy tower.
Yeah.
Well, at least
Well,
I did.
I was around for 2. That was like one of the first things you did on the Xbox One, I think, was to redo the astronomy tower.
Yeah, I think so. That and the Quidditch pitch.
God, that does sound old. How this started off as an Xbox 360 version. Like, how many people even watching probably played the 360 version of Minecraft?
Probably not a lot.
No.
Oh, it is
but yeah.
this dark, yeah.
Yeah, don't know. Honestly, this version of the map wasn't even supposed to be for download. It just so happened somebody told me that they would take shader pictures of the map from me. So that's the only reason that this even got uploaded in the first place. I figured, well, I already have the file, so I guess I'll put it up for download, but I didn't even do a run over of the map, so that's the reason why this Christmas tree that's undecorated is still sitting in the Great Hall.
I'm just looking
Well,
at this.
for what it's worth, I'm happy you put it up for download, because if not, well, etc., etc.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it was a good idea in retrospect. A lot of people downloaded the first version, which kind of sucks because it's probably the worst version that you could download of this map.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this.
But I mean,
stuff.
other than the other than the Christmas tree, the Great Hall didn't really change too much. It's still sort of the same. I mean, obviously now I have like the invisible item frames on the tables, and we have the ability to switch between normal and Halloween, which obviously isn't here anymore, or at the
windows as
moment.
well.
What did we change? Oh yeah, the windows
Yeah.
are changed too because the big part's on the bottom instead of
And obviously the design of the
top.
with the. Have you got the panes? Like with the wall and then have you kept with glass blocks?
I don't remember. The back window changed, definitely.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
not wood
definitely.
anymore. Chase came along and pimped my window.
That's
So-
like, yeah, the obviously he was working on mine, and that's like where the window design came from. Like for the, I don't know if you have it, but yeah, the panes we did them together.
Yeah, the grand staircase didn't change much.
Oh, it looks so weird without the paintings,
Yeah,
like
I've-
the
I've-
retextured ones.
Oh yeah.
I have not
Oh,
seen.
I remember this one. Hold on, I remember this one.
Yeah, I
it
don't think it
doesn't-
works
Yeah,
anymore.
I think there was like a redstone thingy missing here. I can't remember. There was something missing here.
I mean, the build is still here.
Yes, I remember I fixed the redstone, but probably that was in a different version. Like the original room of requirements, or the second probably.
Yeah, the second room requirement.
Because I remember you could go down here, yeah, and then look, I think it's, yeah. Look, my sense of direction has improved.
Would you find the old hallway?
Look here.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah,
looking.
the old hallway.
Yeah, and this is the old room of requirement.
Oh yeah, the first one. This is the first room of requirement. I don't remember who built this, but it wasn't me or Connor.
Was it easiest blow?
It might have been easiest blowfish.
Yeah, I want to thank him obviously because I stalked Michael. I watched his video back in 2015. Saw a guy called Easiest Blowfish come online. So a message came like, "Who have you been building Hogwarts with?" Sort of demanded it. He told me that very nicely. So yeah, thank you to Easiest Blowfish for allowing me to find
Shout
him.
out. Shout out to Blowfish.
I remember.
Who knows where we'd be without that man?
I remember him
there's
being
like a
very
secret.
gutted. We got rid of his like work on the dungeon, like his primary work.
Oh yeah.
There was a secret passage here somewhere. Was there? Wasn't
there?
there? Oh, wait a
No,
second. No, on the other side. No.
You know, this originally led to the Ravenclaw Tower staircase.
I should stick with you guys.
Yeah, the secret passage is up here. This used to be the
redstone
way
stuff.
into.
Oh.
I don't know if it still works. It probably doesn't.
No, yeah, it does, but I don't think it sometimes it closes on itself again.
Yeah, I don't have it T flip-flopped, I don't think. I don't know.
I remember fixing it at one point. This is great. Nostalgia.
Yes, woo. The old Hufflepuff common room's probably here.
It should be.
Oh, my very simple command
Oh.
work.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, this is stuff done by Brent. Oh god. This looks so much worse than how it looks now.
Progress for the sake of progress must be discouraged. Wait, what?
Not in this case.
Definitely not. Oh, I remember this one. The little tiny things that we changed.
Actually, I mean, like, this common room wasn't the worst.
No, definitely not.
Is this is this the second attempt or the first?
This is the first. The difference being that because the Great Hall was straight and the terrain was straight, this window actually used to be an actual window.
That's it. I was wondering, like, I knew there was a story with the window.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it all. There's a story behind probably every block.
Well,
which is great.
Maybe not every block. There is a story behind a lot of the rooms, a lot of the design decisions. A lot of people bother me about the grand staircase, and people, for one, need to realize that the map is Deathly Hallows, so the staircase is dumb. And two, we built this room square, and the normal grand staircase doesn't work in a square room.
No,
It should be rectangular.
Honestly,
Yes.
I mean, Michael probably won't want you to go back to it, but do go back to his first ever tour video to see what it looked like with not a normal grand staircase, but the original grand staircase.
Yeah, it looked terrible. So that's another reason why it was changed. This is actually the updated version of Gryffindor Common Room. I think the only difference being these hallways now, and the dorms. I think or maybe I think the dorms might.
I
be
think
the
the
same.
dorms are still the same. I think we added some stuff over here.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little.
I think there's
thing
room here.
That's it.
I can't remember. There should be room.
There
here.
was. The original dorms used to be the entirety of these little hallways.
Yes.
And that was not
a
pretty
I remember
sight.
the girls being a bit squashy.
I mean, the Gryffindor Common Room is it's a tough one if you put it in,
Here, yeah.
its secondary canon's location, which obviously is what I did, is squeeze it into the Grand Staircase Tower, because it's there from Prisoner of Azkaban onwards, and yeah, I mean, you do what you gotta do. But it is tough to fit it in the Grand Staircase Tower.
Well, I remember this terracotta. I once broke it and I had no idea how to realign it. So it took me like half an hour to fix again.
So yeah, this was the second attempt of Dumbledore's office area with the courtyard.
Because it used to be in the astronomy tower.
Really?
I did. I put it in the astronomy tower for some reason. I thought it was there. Obviously, my research was a lot thinner back in the day than it is
Yeah.
now.
I did not know that. Now I really want to see the old versions.
I don't know if in my original tour it's there. It might be.
No, it is in here in the original tour. Like, so this is
it?
the
Oh.
third version, I guess. Then, because that's something I've learned. I've worked on this map for 6 years, and I never knew that.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
we've
jeez.
never talked about
I
that.
might have pictures. I might have pictures of it. I could probably put them on screen now.
So obviously,
That would be cool.
I might as well ask some questions. Talking about like research.
Yeah.
Back when you first started this 2014, like what was your research? Because I think now, obviously, with the community we have as like a Hogwarts Minecraft, there's reference pictures of everything, behind the scenes shots. Like back when, obviously, I know what we did. Like we just put hours upon hours watching stuff. Like we put so much in. We was quite alone. No one else really doing Minecraft. But like back when you doing it 2014, what was your research?
Well, I think when me and you started working together is when I actually really started to pay attention to the things that matter. My research up until that point was, yeah, that looks right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was the same, because obviously I had a Hogwarts back then, but I'd never looked. I searched something up maybe on Google Images, and just looked at that one image. I took one image rather than looking at 4 or 5 different angles, sort of thing. I think it's crazy
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, those.
Like the amount of reference pictures people have, and like the access we have to it. Because
Yeah, the Dragonauts Discord is
Yeah.
definitely.
it's next level.
It's
Yeah, it has its advantages because it makes everybody has the possibility to build a Hogwarts now, and an accurate one at that.
as much as I don't care too much for all of the design decisions on Drag's his tutorial, there definitely is a lot worse Hogwarts as people could make.
Oh,
So
that's something like I find it crazy that there is this community. Like I always just thought we were like the 2 crazy idiots out there doing it for so long, and now there's hundreds and thousands of. Obviously, there's more than 2,000 people or something in that server now. All obviously having interest in building Hogwarts. Most of them the same, but still having interest in building Hogwarts. It's just crazy to see how like that the things become of building.
when we started working on this stuff, we thought it was very niche.
Yeah. I mean, there were still quite big
And-
maps out there on the PC, but on the Xbox especially, and English-speaking people, because a lot of the people who made Hogwarts were not actually English-speaking on the PC. Most who made big maps were from Europe and Asia and stuff. So we didn't have that
Yeah, I
people
think-
to speak to.
I think the big maps that were around when I started were Casperson's, Simon Kirchner's,
Yes.
um,
I always remember
Yeah,
one.
those are the 2 I remember.
If you remember searching up like Hogwarts Minecraft back in 2014, 2013, there was like it was like cobblestone and wooden roof, and it was made by a Japanese guy. It was like the top search on YouTube for it. I think that was like my first like view of one, as well.
I think Martig's Hogwarts was around at that time as well.
Yeah, I've never seen his Hogwarts until the Drag server.
No, I saw his a long time ago. I was actually looking through my YouTube favorites, and it's far back in there.
I think I remember you sending me his videos of like. I think I always remember seeing the Great Hall and being blown away by it.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you because
Yeah.
you were big into the original versions of Hogwarts. And I was like, wow, this guy actually built like the
Yeah, and that's another thing.
Sorcerer's
I
Stone
guess.
Chamber of Secrets one.
Obviously, I know you've talked about it before. Obviously, but what was like the choice? Like, what made you come to the decision? Deathly Hallows.
I don't even know.
Hogwarts?
Probably, honestly, I like this courtyard. I like the viaduct courtyard a lot.
Yes, I'll admit obviously I wasn't the biggest fan of like Deathly Hallows, like not this courtyard. I really like this. I've always liked this courtyard, but the castle in general. It's probably like my gripe is like a young 15-year-old. Like this is what I mean. I've grown a lot, but it was the staircase and stuff. I don't know. It's wound me up. Like you've gone from this amazing magical staircase, but I just didn't like it. But I guess is this the most popular castle? Do you think when it comes to building? I think it was.
I don't know. There's a lot of people who do Half-Blood Prince. Yeah, I think Half-Blood Prince might be the most common version.
Some people build like the viaduct bridge and this courtyard with like a Half-Blood Prince style castle, like especially back in the day when it was like not a lot looser, I guess, but people just built Hogwarts. You know, didn't like we said. We just looked at a picture and then yeah, that's good. Like we had a mix and match castle with the training grounds, tower and stuff.
Big
the
difference
red roofs.
to look at is that we have a second viaduct bridge.
Yeah.
which isn't here anymore.
This little dwarf.
Oh wait, what? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's
And
over here now.
There's no little thing here. The thing we discovered only about 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yeah, the dreaded walkway, which is
Yes.
Walkway gang for the win.
which is something I like. Again, research back then compared to how it is now is just another level, but no idea that walkway even existed, and it's been there since the beginning.
I'm shocked. Yeah, but the thing is, we did. It's not like towards obviously when we started heating up. I say we started getting serious. When we redid the castle, probably at mid 2015, wasn't it? We got really serious with like research. We watched all the films and stuff. We looked at the model of the castle so much, and we never saw that.
When we redid everything, yeah.
The amount of times we looked at that model. Yeah, no, just look when we were looking, over the years when we've looked at the model of Hogwarts, and we never saw it. We must have looked at that picture thousands of times.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of a weird spot, especially on the model, because like, obviously you can't like get a selfie stick and just lean it all the way over from the viewing platform.
You can't. It is, and no, it's very busy, that room as well, to try and get pictures. Like people are always budging you out of the way. It's basically, for people who don't know, it's like a walkway around. It goes down. You start at the top and you make your way down to the boathouse sort of thing. And yeah, you can't really just stop and try and take pictures. There's always some bumping past you. It's probably got busier since when I went. Like. And we tried to use some of my pictures, which I'm not a photographer, and some of my pictures weren't the best for some of the stuff.
I'm gonna take a good picture at the crest because it's gone now. Bye, crest.
This whole entrance hall is completely different now, for the better, mind you, but it is completely different now.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, your pictures did come in very helpful in Diagon Alley.
Oh yes, yeah. My videos and like pictures and stuff for Diagon Alley was, what we based the entire thing on.
Yeah, this isn't here anymore. I got lighting glitches out the wazoo in this place.
Yeah, all over the place, but it doesn't matter that much, I think, because probably
But yeah,
But I do remember.
In hindsight, I'm actually wondered why you never built the Prisoner of Azkaban one, because that's obviously your favorite movie and book.
This entrance hall, you can ask Connor. This entrance hall is pretty much like an amalgamation of like all of the different entrance halls from the games.
Yes, and obviously, I only realised I only realised yesterday that how different Prisoners is on the PS2 compared to Flossers and Chamber. Like when you posted the
Yeah,
picture in the chat,
it's very different. It's got a lot.
I always thought they were quite similar. It is very different, yeah. But yeah, like obviously my games were Chamber, so I guess when we get pictures and stuff, yeah, I always went for Chamber and stuff like that. Me and Michael have got our biases for the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make Slytherin win.
So, some people might wonder why I decided to do the video game entrance hall on the viaduct. Because obviously, if you play the 5th and 6th game, they have a completely different entrance hall, I guess, for this area. And it's simply because I enjoyed the older games so much. I love, like, part of like what makes Harry Potter to me is the video games. Like, I'm
the same.
It's part of the magic. So if there was, like, you know, obviously the dungeons are based off the Prisoner of Azkaban game and stuff like that. Any opportunity that I can have to just put some of the older video game stuff into the map, like I have some of the songs from the old PS2 games on the map now, obviously. To me, they're part of the Harry Potter nostalgia. And I've always loved the entrance halls from the different games. I always thought they were beautiful. And I thought, like, the viaduct was perfect for the entrance hall. It's sort of the perfect building for it.
Yeah, obviously going back to the 5th and 6th games, I've just toured them and stuff, and obviously the size of this doesn't compute with the size of that one, of the space you have for the viaduct in them games. Like the space here, you can see here, it's literally perfect.
Yeah.
For this entrance hall. You have the big hourglasses, you've got 4 windows to put them in. You've got it's almost like it was made for this room. Which is weird considering obviously in the actual games you come out at the backside of the castle. You know, obviously in the Prisoner of Azkaban you come out in the clock tower courtyard.
Yeah, and in the Chamber of Secrets and the Sorcerer's Stone you come out in the training grounds. Which is weird.
But that's what I mean. I always thought as a child we didn't have an accurate Hogwarts, you know, because obviously I played the 5th game and stuff. But I just never flew around. But the exterior of Hogwarts in them games is spot on for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd game.
Yeah.
They just
get
you coming out at weird places. In the first PS1 game, there's like this game you play where you, it's like a secret stall, and like it's just stuff like that. You know, when you're struggling for inspiration, there's so many like rooms in the games and stuff you can put them in.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I know we've got like the disused bathroom from Fred and George,
of course.
stuff like that.
I mean, that's iconic to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Blooming Percy in the first 2 games.
I've never played any of the games. But I don't have to play any of the games because I have this one, so I know where everything is anyway.
If you look at this is pretty much a 1-to-1 recreation of the dungeons from Prisoner of Azkaban on the PS2. Obviously, the PC versions are completely different, but you know, when we speak about the games, it's mostly like the PS1, PS2 versions.
Still holds up remarkably well.
I haven't really touched potions since we did this. I don't really see a reason why we would. The dungeons are pretty much perfect in the sense that they look exactly like they do in Prisoner of Azkaban. There was obviously a few things that were added.
And yeah, we've just
like this room
for space and stuff like this.
Aragog.
But yeah, obviously, me and Michael was talking about the games 2 days ago, and like, we were talking about, obviously I brought up 2 things, and if anyone has the answers, please do comment because it's bugged me. Why Hufflepuff are purple in Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
And why Slytherins and Ravenclaws have Gryffindor ties.
I literally had no idea. I've played so much. like I told you, I didn't get too far in Chamber of Secrets because those stealth sections at the beginning broke my like 12-year-old mind. So why is Hufflepuff purple? I don't understand. It's not like the PS2 was unable to render the color yellow. But this area actually is an area where it's actually just it's sort of like a challenge dungeon in Prisoner. You get pushed down here by Draco, who is polyjuice potioned as Ron, after you wake up in the hospital after the Quidditch match. And you fight a whole bunch of red caps and hickey punks down here so that you can get an owl treat for
red caps
for Hedwig, so that you can call Hermione and let her know you're trapped down in the dungeons. And this is the room that you get the owl treat for.
Instead of helping Ron and Harry with like a ladder, she jumps down herself and gets stuck.
And so funnily, she's there just so happens to be a little room that only she can crawl under, even though she's the exact same size as Ron and Harry.
And yeah, like when they
so
lift
that she
up,
can
it
press
goes,
a
like,
button.
an inch. And then she'll do a power on you. And red caps in that game, God.
Yeah, they were annoying. Slytherin Common Room didn't really change much.
No, I think it's still again it holds up really well.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Which one was? I can't remember which one was Malfoy's. Didn't you have a wand in here?
I don't know if I did.
Oh,
I don't think.
Nope.
I don't think I put custom stuff in anything besides Gryffindor. I think maybe like a few things were changed in here, like the couple of blocks here and there, but
I can't remember. Did we put like water on the ceiling, or was that on Chase's map? I can't remember.
no, that was on Chase's. I didn't do the dripping
okay.
ceiling in here. That reminds me though, I need to go through here maybe later and add some dripstone to the roof.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of things that are abhorrently different, and I think the biggest thing that comes to mind is the training grounds towers.
Yeah.
So
It's just like
Yep.
the backside, yeah.
yeah, we need to go over there because that's where the biggest change is going to be, I think. We still have the Dark Tower,
Oh,
which
of course.
I kept for a long time, probably against some people's approval, just because I love Prisoner of Azkaban so much. There's no other reason why. The Watchtower is still Ravenclaw Tower in this version, which is funny.
What?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at like the over detailed quad.
Yes, the over-detailed quad. Still looks good. It
does,
looks
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It looks good in here. I don't think it looks as good from the front. Obviously, like,
Well, it's a bit much. It's not 100% accurate.
yeah, and you know, we have this little like extra tower on the front, which is, looking at it
Yeah.
now, is
Hold on.
really ugly.
Oh yeah, that's
Is this
obviously
the one you mean?
Is
Yeah,
that where the
that
office
one.
for
Yeah, this
Defense
is,
Against Dark Arts is? Yeah.
yeah, the D.A office, which is funny because we got rid of all this extra over detail, and we had enough room to put the office with this tower not existing. So I feel like if we really tried, we could have made this all fit without adding this tower. It's just sort of an unnecessary thing that just came out of incompetence more than anything.
Obviously, this is like the first part of the actual castle I worked on. This tower here. What is Ravenclaw Tower here? We redid that after the Quidditch bit, so this is the first tower I worked on. I remember we were giving a tour.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the design for this has stayed for a long time, which is good, because I think the only changes that we've made to the Watchtower, A, we moved Ravenclaw because it's obviously not in the right spot, and B, we made it thinner at the bottom, because this version, it's really thick.
Ravenclaw Tower is weirdly slim.
Oh my god, yeah, it's tiny. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, this is before the version 3 remake.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the whole long
the bell towers as
gallery.
well. Everything is
Oh
thin.
my
What?
god.
I can't remember like the interiors we have for this.
This is so, like, it's strangely anemic to look at it. It's,
Wow, the interior it's so small, and
it's also, like, so
We got the-
open compared to what we have now.
yeah.
I have a different word for it, but I'm gonna say it feels like home. I've spent so much time in
Well,
here.
I mean, obviously.
You don't want to know.
Obviously, we have
Less than
two.
you, of course, but
Yeah, but I don't know. It's the red carpet. Don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Just a plain red carpet. I think carpets.
yeah, it's a filler.
I think they were just new at the time. Honestly, like the actual carpet block. But like
Yes.
this room for the bottom of the astronomy tower, I've always hated this room. Obviously now it's different, but yeah, I've always hated this room. It's just I couldn't come up with a design for this for the longest time, but I've
Obviously, yours is a lot longer than most people's, isn't it? As well.
oh yeah,
Astronomy
the
towers.
astronomy tower, yeah,
So you've got a lot more room to fill.
yeah, it's a thick boy in mine.
Wow. We're going up here.
Dummy
now.
thick.
Chess club.
Oh wait, I remember.
We gave
It's there.
chess club,
There's
like-
the staff room
Oh
here.
yeah, the
We gave
staff-
chess club quite a lot of space.
We don't have a staff room now, do we?
I think we do. Yeah, we do.
You
We do.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we do. Across the chess room.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look at chess
forgot it.
club. It's huge.
It is.
Yeah, Jesus. It's still honestly, it's still pretty big. But yeah,
Classroom 2A.
obviously there's a second floor to the long gallery, which doesn't exist anymore.
Obviously, one thing I do want to ask is, I don't know how many people do know this, obviously. The castle was originally, because you ran out of space on 360, which was a thing, like, people now are probably shocked to hear you could run out of space in a world. But obviously your castle, you spawned very close to the edge, and you had to build Hogwarts at a very weird angle.
Yes, I did, and I will put a few images of those on screen so that people can see. But
Like,
yeah,
how far along were you when you realised that?
I'm gonna be honest. I built Hogwarts straight before realizing that it wasn't supposed to be straight. So it was more of a... Back then, I'll put it this way. Back then, I thought that the quad and the clock tower were diagonal, and not the fact that the east side of Hogwarts is just completely at a different angle. So it was more of a I guess it was more of like a logistics thing, where it was like, I don't want to build the quad and the clock tower on a diagonal because those will look weird. It was more of just not knowing, not really paying attention, not looking at other people's Hogwarts builds either. I think at the time I realized, like, oh, it should be this direction. Obviously I couldn't do that because I couldn't go any further north, so I just kept building on this disgustingly straight Hogwarts that...
Obviously, I know how much it griped you, and it still does now. And we had it for months, and we always like, I always knew we were going to do it, like rebuild it, because we were just like that. We just loved, like, them early days. We spend, it was continuous. Like, there was never really breaks from it because there were always so much to build. But it was always like that joke, like, oh yeah, we'll do it one day. I remember waking up to the message. It was like February, and I just remember, like, I just got this tweet, and it was you put the picture in the other day. It was like you redoing the viaduct. I was like, it's like 6:30 in the morning here, and I just were like, I'm getting on now. Like, I obviously never really got my Xbox that early, but I've got to. So I literally jumped out of bed, went down for a coffee, and came straight back on. I think for the next 8 hours, we just like redid stuff.
Yeah, I think we did the exterior for what you guys are seeing right now, in maybe like 2 days. It didn't take that long to actually put all of this up.
We obviously cleared out quite a bit, like the dungeons and stuff. We were just blowing up with TNT so we could redo the terraforming stuff like that. Yeah, we used to go like ham. Like when we wanted to do something, we did it. Like, and it's all by hand. There was no like copy paste stuff like there is now. Like.
Yeah, that's like one of the most important things to mention is that like nowadays we just copy, we clone and we structure. We can build this whole thing probably in like a couple of hours. But back in the day, without all that command stuff, it was hard work.
I think honestly, it was more work to get rid of the older castle than it was to build the new one.
It was like because you couldn't clear, like it was quite because you still had part of the castle you wanted to keep. And stuff, but yeah, it was TNT. Try to clean it out with your hand and stuff like the things that didn't. But yeah, back then, it wasn't hard work though, because it was quite enjoyable. Like spending your 7 years. It was never hard work, but terrain.
Okay, Connor, for 10 points, come over to Transfiguration. What's the spell that McGonagall uses again to transfigurate? It rhymes a bit with arigato or something. Very, very, very something. I don't know.
Vereverto. I don't know how to spell it.
Ah, yes.
Vereverto.
Yeah.
1,
something
2,
like that.
3. Vereverto. I don't. Maggie Smith, obviously, with her. I only realised about a year ago that Maggie Smith's actually not Scottish, and she claims she can't do a Scottish accent, but she can obviously. And I can never tell if it's Vereverto or Vereverto.
I'm pretty sure it's Vereverto.
But yeah, even terrain. I don't think I remember like the terrain that always sticks out for me is the terrain where the viaduct bridge is. You're coming into Hogwarts.
Oh yeah.
That did take a long bloody time.
Yeah, the hill.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, the hill where the entrance is. Yeah,
I'm not lying. When me and Michael were probably on Minecraft for 10 hours that day. Just doing
Holy
that.
poop.
Yeah, that terrain.
10 hours by hand. Like, we've just been doing terrain. Obviously, I've been doing it on my map, and Michael's been doing it for Belkov these last few weeks. And to do the entire castle, it's taken 2-3 hours.
Yeah, when I don't know if I told you this, Belkov. When I sent you those pictures originally of like all of the terrain around your castle, it only took like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's insane.
And like it's just crazy now that there's these tools available.
Yeah, no, the tools. God, if I had these tools back in the day,
it wouldn't have taken 7 years.
No, probably not.
It's like obviously copy and paste. That was like the God saving for London, because for 2 years probably. 2 years, London was just half finished.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, because I think if you go to London now, you just see a couple of outlines and that's it.
Yeah, like me and Michael, we did a building once every like few weeks. At one point, it was just the motivation was never there to finish London.
It's because
it was so big.
Yeah, it was very monotonous.
And obviously, we spent. I remember the time we did the Ministry of Culture, Sport and Media. We knocked them 2 buildings out.
But those buildings were fun because they were good looking buildings.
They were, yeah. fun to build. That's what I mean. Like that and St Pancras Station were like the things we built, and then I was like, oh yeah, we've done that. Can we be bothered building townhouses?
To be exact, we built the facade of St Pancras. It was like 2 years before we decided to actually add like the actual train station part of St Pancras and not just the front of it.
It was like it was just the front. Yes, that was it. And then you put a King's Cross in behind.
Yeah, because for the longest, I didn't want to build the domes, like the glass domes, because, again, you had to do it all by hand, and that was just dreadful.
That's always, like, weird to me now, like, having to explain to someone, oh, yeah, we did this, like, Minecraft's changed so much in the 7 years we've been doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look at these old trees. I mean, I used just the normal Minecraft trees at this time.
Yeah, we went around with sapling. I remember doing the Forbidden Forest. Like, we planted the trees, sapling, like...
That actually used to lag the game pretty hard,
obviously,
those saplings.
Yeah. And I remember coming on, like, one day, 2 or 3 years ago, like, and you was like, oh, yeah, you take these kelp blocks, drop them around the map. I was like, what? He was like, trust me.
Oh, yeah, I remember
You're like,
that.
Trust me. And it spouted these amazing trees.
Yeah.
I think that was like the first...
Yeah, Jira hooked us up.
Yeah, Jira.
Yeah, the first... That and the cloning for London, they were like the first sort of like steps towards what we do now sort of thing. That were like the first... not cheap, but, you know, shortcut.
Looking at this now, this Quidditch pitch, it's still a really nice Quidditch pitch. It's obviously not as nice as the one that's there now, because the other one's like twice as big as this one. But I mean, this one to me it'll always have a special place in my heart, because this is the first thing me and Connor worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the OG.
Like, that was just a crazy day. Like, I've talked about it before, obviously, but we're talking 5 years ago. I probably talked about this in the... or whatever. But yeah, obviously, I just found his map on, like, YouTube one day, around Christmas time. I just thought, I want a tour of this. And we had this tour, and afterwards, like, me and Michael, we've got a 5-hour time difference. So we started at 7 o'clock in the morning, so 2 o'clock in the morning for Michael, and we didn't finish speaking till 11 o'clock my time. We literally was sat in the clock tower courtyard just talking about Harry Potter for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, mind you guys, that originally, like, when I first gave Connor a tour of this map, it probably only took like 30 minutes to give a full tour of everything. So... Yeah, we just spoke about Harry Potter and Minecraft map, Hogwarts designs, and pretty much anything. And that's honestly how I knew, like, yeah, you know, this guy seems like he'd be a pretty good fit for this project.
I know how obviously, like, not you know, selective you are obviously with these map, you know, like people who can help and stuff like that. And I don't know, I felt like even then I just knew, like, oh wow, he's like, he wants me to help and stuff. And yeah, I remember it was...
Well, yeah.
So he probably slept for about 4 hours, and then we did this this probably took about 7 hours to do. Or something crazy.
Yeah, the Quidditch which took a long time.
And that's what, like...
Well, I think even...
Yeah, sleeping schedule's never been your strong point.
No, it's not. But yeah, I mean, obviously on a map like this, you kind of have to be super selective about who you let on it.
I mean...
And it was also a thing where you didn't ask to work on it. And there was a lot of people who always came on for a tour and they're like, can I help, please? And it's like, you know, I don't, people like that, to me, I don't want to say, like, it seems like, you know, they kind of just want to work on it for the notoriety. But to a degree, I think there's sort of that. Obviously not everyone is in that same boat, but I like that like me and Connor, we just talked forever, so it just seemed like a perfect fit. Where it was like, well, you can get this guy to come on. You know, I don't have to do everything myself. We can do all this work really easily. We don't have to. You know, there's no awkward sitting in the party silently and me yelling at him not to put stuff. Yeah, it was never forced. Exactly. It was just a sort of a thing that just worked.
Yeah, and was it on a realm back then, or was it running from an Xbox?
That's like a thing. It was never hard. Like we both made compromises. Obviously, like I'd stay up a bit later. He'd get up sometimes earlier. He'd fix his sleep pattern if we were doing something really big, like when we were redoing the castle, for example. He actually fixed his sleep pattern so we could do it during the day, so we'd have longer together.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like I've not even thought about like realms and stuff. Yeah, because obviously we've got a 5-hour difference, so we always had to try and make that work.
But yeah, realms have made a huge difference because obviously for people who don't know who are watching this, realms are persistent forever. So it's, you know, it's you don't even have to ask to come on the world anymore.
I was still in school back then, so it was even harder at times. Which is weird to think, obviously. Well, it's crazy to think we were 15 and 19.
Oh, it looks like a face. Look, if you look at this bit from a distance, it looks like a face.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. Well, the tent and the Dragon Arena are both still the same. Is there really a difference other than the, or not even the magma blocks are here already?
Doesn't the dragon breathe fire now?
No. I think he just has the fire in his mouth still.
Yeah.
Obviously all of this is completely different now. All of the terrain, the training grounds towers are gone, thankfully. You know, the ruins are so much nicer now. The maze is the same. Couldn't be asked to change the maze. That, again, this was one of those things that when we started it, not even when we started it, before we started it, we dreaded having to do because we knew it was going to be a nightmare.
And we messed up.
We did, yeah. At first, we were just placing.
We did mess up.
We were placing paths randomly because obviously
we didn't think of.
Yeah, we never built a maze before this, so it was like. We didn't think like, oh yeah, you got to kind of make these on a grid because, you know, the paths will just kind of leave.
Everything has to be 3 wide.
Yeah. Well, 2 actually.
At points it was like 1 wide. Is it 2?
Yeah, it's 2.
No, it's 3.
No, it's 2. It's 2.
Oh,
wide.
No, I meant like the path inside, sorry.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Oh, the path is 3 wide, yeah.
Because at times it went narrower.
Yeah, obviously in this resource pack, natural. Oh my god, it's so laggy. But in this resource pack, the leaves were really see-through, and that's why I went with a 2-block wide one, because it was really obvious when we were trying to do 1 block.
Yeah, where you needed to go.
Yeah. So that's why it's 2 blocks wide. Obviously, it kind of stinks for like having the cup be perfectly in the middle, because that means I had to make the cup 2 blocks wide, and I still don't like the cup, but you know, what can you do, right? I mean, if I can figure out how to make custom blocks work, fingers crossed, then I can make a Triwizard Cup, but for now it's still.
Can't you just do it with like no, that doesn't work, never mind.
But yeah,
with stairs and stuff.
We should probably switch to map number 2 now, because we've been on this one for a while, and we've probably been recording for ages now. Alright.
Magic.
Just like that, we're back at Hogwarts, but this time in a different version. I feel like a lot of people found the map during version number 2, including Belkov.
I'm wondering whether I found it in version 1 and version 2 is the result that I'm starting to doubt now.
Yeah.
I think we did version 2 together
Did we?
already.
Maybe.
Well, you can find out by going to the room of requirements. If it's there, then we did this one together. If it's not, then it's going to be version...
So obviously, like when Belkov joined, we were sort of not at a...
Yep.
We weren't at... we were in sort of like a lull. We sort of taken the map as far as at the time me and Michael could probably take it. You know, we built most of the stuff. We were sort of doing other stuff as well. Like we had a lot of stuff going on, like in personal lives and blah blah blah, boring stuff like that. And then you obviously doing stuff for Marketplace by this time. I felt like at that point we'd taken it as far as we could, and then like you've said this before, haven't you, Paul? That like not save the map, but he rejuvenated it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, it's sort of a thing. Like, we were, like you said, we worked for a long time on this map, and before version, like around the time after we released version 1, we'd already pretty much done everything other than like stuff we really didn't want to do, which was like London and a few other things outside of that. Yeah, but like,
yeah,
we were just learning commands because you know, we didn't really know how to work that kind of stuff, and a lot of the ideas that we had just kind of, I don't know, they were kind of out of the realm of possibility for what we were trying to do. I remember
we were very what's the word I'm trying to think. We were like way back when we always had these like crazy ideas what we wanted for a map. Like when we first started working on it, it probably never thought they'd come true. I guess I never thought Minecraft would evolve to like PC level in that sort of sense.
Yeah, right. Because when we first started working on the map, I was like, oh, a custom texture pack would be great.
Yeah.
custom texture skins. Pack would be amazing. Skins, yeah. And that was the...
all that sort of stuff.
That was the thing. And then Belkov came out of fucking nowhere with this...
Out of nowhere, probably, yeah.
With this
quite literally.
Yeah, literally. With this insane concept for the room of requirement, which is what we're looking at now. And I remember seeing you post the YouTube link to this in the MCPEDL download. And
do you have a wand?
Apparently not.
I have one. So this is the come and go room, or the room where everything is hidden, that you already looked at.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah, so the room where everything's hidden. So we obviously we have a whole bunch of different designs for this now, but
oh, it's stuck.
Yeah, it's broken. Oh.
No, it's not. It will close itself again. I think we should do this one, the D.A coin. Bloop.
So to remind everybody, this was obviously very early Belkov command work, but
very early. But
this was, to me, when I first saw you post this video, I was like, "Oh my god, this is actual magic." Even now,
just being
even now.
Yeah, we've come a long way, but I will admit it's game changing.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, even now, I think the room of requirements one of the coolest things that we have on the map. Like, I know, even now, knowing how it works. Obviously, at the time, I didn't. I was like, how the hell is he putting new rooms by pressing a button? That's the craziest shit I ever seen at the time. But even now, knowing like how it works, it's still so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty much one of the first, command-wise, one of the first things I built. And it was so obvious to do it.
To me, it wasn't. To me, it was like, oh, I'll do a hidden door into a room. That'll be the room of requirement. Perfect. You know? But like, having it change and you know, using items to change the different rooms, and like all of the rooms being in the exact same spot, like, to me, I didn't think you could do that shit with commands. I had no idea. I think in this map around this time, I was just learning how to clone stuff. But apparently you'd already mastered how to clone stuff. I was just using it to make trees, which you can see.
This is where at this point I was like brought back into the map. Like, I'd been at university and stuff, blah blah blah, and then we were cloning buildings in London, and that's how London got completed. And then I remember, like, that really got me back into the map. So, like, over my Christmas holidays, like, me and Belkov, like, did all the Muggle towns and stuff, you know, like, all that size.
Oh, yeah, we did, what's it called, the town Snape lives in?
Yeah, and stuff like that. And we did, obviously, where, the little village of Babbleton, whatever it's called, where Slughorn's from.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like when I say, obviously, Belkov, he really, like, put new life and energy back into that map, like, the map. I don't think from there we've looked back. It's grown and grown with more commands and stuff like that.
I think in a sense we were kind of burned out.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. We worked.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So many long hours. Just Minecraft at that point was kind of becoming stale, and this was sort of a thing where when commands came along, and we had somebody who knew what they were doing.
Oh, it's a different.
Well, I didn't really know what I was doing, to be fair.
Well, you knew more than us.
Yeah.
Which was more than enough.
Yeah, but you never saw the problems I've had. I mean, I told you once before, I took out like half this tower once I was working on the room of requirement. I literally took out half the tower when a clone command went wrong. And I had to rebuild it by hand because I literally had no idea that you could just put back a copy with the press of a button from the realm. So I had to build like this entire bit you see here. I rebuilt it all by hand.
I once caused a great fire of Hogwarts, Belkov, don't worry.
Oh, the Great Fire of Hogwarts. I'm like, how could we not have mentioned that?
Oh, God. So, one time, I don't know why, but I turned on fire spreads to do something. And I left it on for a bit too long, and we just turned around and, like, the quad was all on fire. Because it used to be all wood, didn't it? The flooring, the beams, everything. And, the quad had just burnt to a crisp. Yeah, everything was gone.
Oh, my God.
It was so stressful. And it was like a real fire.
Yeah, that was before Realms, you know, and we only had, you know, we could only make copies every now and again, but like, yeah, because look, I know I'm stuttering a bit, but you couldn't really trust copying maps on the Xbox version, because every other update it would break, like. Every other update, I felt like there was another problem with copying maps, and I didn't want to risk deleting our map by accident, so I never really made copies of it. Which, in retrospect, terrible idea. But, you know, the Great Fire of Hogwarts happened. The quad burned, and and we had to go back in fixing it, and there was nothing else we could do.
We got on with it. It took a day or so, but yeah.
I think a bit of the Great Hall burned too.
Yeah, it will have done, yes, the bottom parts, yeah.
And did you have to rebuild it or just put back a copy?
No, we had to rebuild it, like I said.
We
didn't really do copies.
So all the floor. Yeah, all the floor we had to like replace, like the carpet, because we had the red carpet running round. The beams were made out of wood, so we had to replace them.
Yeah, there was a lot of wood in there.
Did we do the TP room in this version, or was that version 3?
No, it's in this version.
Go on, Michael.
That reminds me as well. Hagrid's hut burned down, and it was actually a good thing that it did, because it used to look terrible. Yeah, the version that we have here and the one that is still on the map now. It's actually the third Hagrid's hut that I made. Obviously, the other one, or no, this is the second one because I didn't put it over. I didn't put it over there.
No.
So yeah, this is the second version.
Did we not have two? I'm sure you did actually put it up. You know, when we did the that part of the castle, I'm sure we had a Hagrid's hut down there too. But the first, you know, the version from the Philosopher's Stone, what his house looked like then.
I don't know if we did.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure we had the Philosopher's Stone Chamber of Secrets, Hagrid's hut there. I could be wrong though.
I don't know. I don't know. I
do
remember.
remember
But either
that.
way,
I could be making stuff
there
up.
was one here, and it had a really ugly roof. And I'm sure I have a picture of it, so I'll put it in the video.
But yeah,
But
it's sort of like what would happen in reality if Hagrid did have Norbert. It would burn down.
yeah,
That should have happened in the
it
first
burned.
book.
The whole roof burned. Thankfully, the forest didn't catch on fire, but the whole roof burned. And I made a new roof, and it came out way better. So
Yeah. So sometimes these things happen for a reason.
exactly. It's so weird looking at this
Sundials.
area in this version, because like it's so wooded here in this version.
Yeah, it's
Obviously
very
now it's
enclosed,
like the
isn't
movies.
it? It's
It's very like pinned together,
Yeah.
very tight.
It's even like coming up towards a stone circle. Like it all seems very close knit. You know, it seems
we
a
don't-
lot smaller.
This pathway doesn't even exist anymore.
But yeah, of them early days, like we probably have like hundreds upon hundreds of stories. We could do like a memoir. But do you have any like particular of obviously the Great Five Hogwarts?
Well, not that I can recall, but do you need to go to the...
I wonder what happens if you all go in. It should say occupied. Oh, this is terrible, this animation.
To give context, on the Xbox One, they used to have these things called groups. And they still do, but they're not really as prevalent as they used to be. But Minecraft themselves used to occasionally put builds on the group, and it would be shared to anybody who was following the group. And usually back in those days, if you owned the game, you would automatically be put in the group. So there were a lot of people in the original Minecraft groups. And you could submit pictures and they would share them with everybody. And I did originally with Hogwarts, but Connor did one with the Ministry because he had a decent looking picture of the Ministry and I didn't. And he would get messages out the wazoo of people wanting to see the map tour. And obviously, and it was before pretty much anything. So like he obviously couldn't give the tours because, you know, he didn't have the map. It was me. So like I would get a message every other day from Connor like, this person wants to see the map, this person wants to see the map, this person wants to see the map. Like it was kind of crazy how many messages we got about this.
Yeah, it really was.
You were touring for a full year.
And obviously, I'll talk about that, but you obviously got told
yeah,
by
was-
Big B's stats.
Yeah, that was around December.
before even I
2014.
came on the map. And obviously, he was a big YouTuber back then. I don't know if he is now. He could. I don't know if he's still a YouTuber. He might be. But did that give you a lot of attention, like any tours or anything off the back of that? Because he had like 100,000 or something back then.
I mean, yeah, there were a lot of people in the comments asking for tours and that. The thing is it was kind of a blur from from that point on until we started making stuff on Bedrock. That like we were given tours like every other day, maybe even every day, and there were multiple tours.
Yeah, wow. But yeah, it was crazy at that time. Like, we wasn't prepared for it, I don't think. Yeah, we knew it looked cool. I can't see, but yeah, the comments were crazy, and yeah, we were doing like 3 tours a day, and it was like we had a thing recited. We had this like we knew when to speak and not to speak. It was a proper full tour.
Yeah, we were
so good at it.
We were professional tour guides for a while. It was like learning the craft of touring, a specific thing.
Like we had his one-liners, we had his jokes. It was fully, people were impressed by it. But yeah, it was a bit annoying at times, I guess. We didn't really like to do it at times. We liked doing the odd one, a guy who knew what he was talking about, I guess. We were in that sort of, if you don't really know much, but yeah, bored of you sort of thing. And we're a lot of kids, obviously. So yeah, it was weird, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there were times when it was quite weird.
We probably,
I can imagine
out of
that.
100 tours we probably gave, we met like 2 decent people who knew
Oh man.
who knew stuff about Harry Potter, stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of the tours we gave were just more. No, and it's obviously no spite towards their knowledge of Harry Potter or anything, but a lot were very casual and didn't really know what they were looking at half the time, so it was sort of like, it's fun, I guess.
No proper fans.
I'll happily admit now, like, obviously, I was almost like a Harry Potter snob. I guess like you get a lot of that with Star Wars, especially obviously with the original trilogy and stuff. But yeah, at the time, obviously, like I was like the height of my Harry. I was a proper weirdo with Harry Potter. Like I was like #1 in the world on like quizzes and stuff. So it's like I knew my stuff, and yeah, it was always like, oh, you don't know what that is, so plumbing. I can't bother explaining that again, because it can get quite repetitive doing the tours, because you want to build, but then you're giving these tours out to all these kids. I think the weirdest one was like a Brazilian kid who didn't speak any English.
Oh,
he
yeah.
kept messaging me until I just gave in. Oh, he was like 10. Oh.
But yeah, the ministry. This took a long time. This is actually one of those builds that
it's huge.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. This was one of those builds that like I can actually say we took our time on, because this took well more than 2 days. This took like,
for a change.
Yeah, this took like a week or so of just like non-stop working, and it was mainly because of the offices.
I remember I used to have the number.
It was something like 1,200 something.
Yeah, 1,342, I think.
Obviously, we didn't.
1,342.
They're still not full of interior.
And you built them all by hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still, I think. Or did you clone?
No, this whole thing was by hand. Everything you're seeing right now is done by hand.
There's a word for that. It's called a masochist.
Well, we were big masochists, and the thing is, at the time when I started doing this, I've never seen anybody else build the ministry. Obviously, there's builds now, but I think the only one I had seen was from Potter World MC, and that was after I built this already. Obviously, like Flu Network has one now, and like more people are starting to build the ministry, like Chase. Obviously, Chase is a really nice ministry, but yeah,
I agree.
This was.
But he cheated. He used clones and structures.
Well,
Doesn't
to be
count.
fair, if I had those, I would have cheated too. So it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chase, if you hear it, it's terrible regardless.
I guess.
Wink, wink.
At the time, when we were doing all this, I was so like. When you looked at Minecraft on Hogwarts on PC and stuff, and you could tell we cloned or whatever, use commands. Like we were so proud of like doing all this by hand, but looking back now, we worked so probably too hard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the burnout came from having to do stuff by hand.
Yes, it's tedious stuff like these offices. Like as cool as we're looking at, as amazing as this build is, like. This just took so long. It's quite brain sapping to just do the same thing over and over. Like, look how many there is.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was that doing. Like these circles, like you don't even think about it when you look at it, because like it's there, you know. But when you think about, I had to make these circles by hand, like
Yes.
all of these where all of these offices are in, like these pods. These are all done by hand. They're all from the bottom to the top having to be built. We had to build the domes. We had to build the roofs proper.
The lifts.
Yeah, all the elevator
lift area.
shafts. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember specifically building these elevator shafts. I think
I do.
I was talking to you about. I was talking to you about the new Battlefield game.
Which one would it have been at that point?
It would have
Would
been
1.
Yeah, it would have been Battlefield 1. Because I had no idea. I was hoping that it was going to be a World War II game, and it ended up being a World War I game.
World War One. Yes. Oh, yeah. I think there's something like 128 lifts, if I remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, something like that. None of them
Yeah.
are useful, other than the ones on the
No.
first floor, but obviously they're a bit more useful now.
But yeah, that's like obviously saying that story there. That it just shows like how long this stuff's been here, and that's just crazy to me. Because like I can recount these stories like they were last week, and they're 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this was this build is 5 years old. The only thing that's new on the Ministry is obviously the new Department of Mysteries, which look a lot better than the other one. And I fixed this ugly ass dome that was here.
Cuff, elevators, cuff.
Oh yeah, and of course Belkov's working elevators, which aren't here in this version, but they'll be in version 3.
Nope.
So
Yep.
we should probably switch over to that, because I don't think version 2 really added
Yeah,
much
there's-
besides the trees and the Ministry. So here we are in version number 3. And now there's quite a bit of changes. Even from version 2 to 3 was actually, I think, a huge change, because we changed the entire, I think this is when I changed the entire lawn gallery.
Yeah, the Hogwarts and the... Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest change in version 3. Obviously, probably we added more locations, and the sky and the custom resource pack in general was new.
It does make the map better as a whole, because like previously with the natural pack you had to have people either download or buy the natural pack or not be able to see it the way you envisioned, and the same went with the Chroma Hills part. And now having your own texture pack makes it so that everybody gets it the same way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the custom resource is definitely, yeah. It's more of a thing where if we want a block to look like something and, you know, make sure that it's seen that way, it's obviously all we need to do is just change it, because then people can just get the resource pack for free with the map, which is fantastic. I think this is like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the 4th iteration of the clock tower, by the way.
Yeah, it's still pretty thick, but I love it.
Yeah, I hate it.
I still want to add a working clock dials to it at one point.
I mean, as long as it doesn't cause too much lag, I don't care. But yeah, this is...
Yeah, probably.
This is all still the same as version 2, all of this area.
Where did you guys go?
Oh, I'm by the stone circle.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
found it.
These little signs take me back. I remember obviously in the original version having like obviously the signs filled with little quotes and when you put like Hermione year 3 here.
Yeah.
Like you'd have, I think the two that stick out for me are the one in the chamber with Lockhart and the one in the Philosopher's Stone chambers.
Yeah, the Ron one.
Yeah, they used to be
We
everywhere.
didn't have to custom NPCs for this one yet.
Nope. Still learning stuff.
No.
But the East Wing...
Yeah, I'm starting to mix up versions now.
I am. I think this is the one I had probably like the obviously this is where I started to like not. I can't remember if it was version 2 or 3 where I had like not as much input.
I think majority of version 3 outside of the custom resources was just upgrading the East Wing, which...
See, so the training ground towers is still in this version.
Yeah, the training ground towers were still around.
We removed that in version 4.
They are new, I think. They are different than the ones in the last one, because we updated all of this area, making the long gallery. Yet I think I did that in version 4, was make these hallways up here thicker than when I got rid of the training grounds tower. I still had obviously the training grounds tower from Half-Blood Prince, and I built it originally and it was too thin. So I had to make these hallways thicker in order to make that tower a couple blocks wider, which made all the difference, honestly.
Yeah, this is indeed the version where you redid. You moved Ravenclaw and you made the whole like East Wing thicker and bigger and better and greater.
And obviously the bell towers, which are honestly, besides the clock tower, might be my favorite part of this build.
Yeah, they do look mighty
I
nice.
love these bell towers.
Yeah.
And they have bells in them as well. Look, bells.
Of course. They've always had bells.
I never noticed them before, to be
All
honest.
of the versions had bells. Well, they didn't always have like the gears and like the actual mechanism like this one does. But they have always had a bell.
And I remember you building them so fast. Obviously you can build one and then clone it to the other, but then again it's so fast. I think it all happened in one day.
Yeah.
Like this whole section that we're looking at, like the complete East Wing, was done in one day.
Yeah, I guess this would be the Durham Cathedral section, which is, yeah, this was all done in 2 or 3 days. The interiors weren't. The interiors took a little while. But
I think the exterior was done really, really fast.
Yeah, it definitely was. Because we needed... Obviously, because I made the viaduct bigger in version 2, or maybe it was version 1, but the viaduct building used to be a lot smaller. And I needed to make it bigger because we made the quad taller, and we made the Great Hall taller, and it looked weird because my quad used to be super short, and so did the Great Hall, but like the Grand Staircase Tower was always this size, so it looked disgusting the way it was scaled. So like when we fixed the castle in 2016 or 2015 to make it the correct shape, and we built the Great Hall the size that it is now, we obviously had to rebuild the quad, which is something we did a long time ago, but it was taller. And then I had to redo the viaduct to make it taller, because then the quad was so much taller than the viaduct because we made it taller. And then when I was thinking about redoing the bell towers, because I've built like 5 or 6 bell towers. They've never looked right until they do now.
Yep.
To me, anyway.
Yeah, well, I agree, because they were like, because you could see like in version 1 and 2 they were tiny.
Yeah. So the only way, conceivably, to make them bigger was to make all of Durham bigger. And I blame Chase 100% for that. I also blame the rest of the Dragonaut Discord for that, because they all have beautiful Durham Cathedral sections on their map, and I wanted to as well. So that's what we did. And that's when the beautiful long gallery entrance came to be.
That was the first time I came into contact with Chase. Was he was just finishing that up, and obviously Thoughts for Gamer. I was like, what? Who's? I thought you changed your name. I don't know why. Because I was just texting, because I was typing. I was on like my ex. I came on for a bit, and I honestly thought I was talking just to you, Michael. So I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't really know about Chess till last year, when obviously I joined a Discord one morning. Obviously we're on the Dragon Lord Discord. That's where I joined Drag's server.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I was convinced that was just you.
I mean, this all came to be because of that, and I mean this is sort of, again, this all looks like this because of that. There's really no other reason, and this is the biggest change from version 2 to 3 is all of this section, which obviously is a great change, because Hogwarts is a much mightier silhouette now. But this is before, and still have all the old terrain. But yeah, I mean, version 3 came out to, I would say, an actual proper release. It was something that I actually planned to release, and it was probably the most complete versions up until 4, I'd say. Obviously, because all of the command stuff was working. Pretty much everything worked at this time, and it looked good, and we had the custom resources and everything.
Yeah, we had London.
So this, I was pretty happy with the way that this version came out.
Yeah, for a bit it looked like this if we did everything that we wanted to do. Like there was nothing else to improve and to add.
Yeah,
that's
but we were pretty wrong.
How do you always come back, how have you always had that motivation to come back and improve upon stuff? Because from this version to version 4, I guess, obviously we'll see in a second how drastically it's changed. What gives you that motivation? Is it just the need for perfection?
Maybe. I don't know. I think, well, you know this as well as I do, because you felt the same way, that we've always wanted proper Hogwarts terrain, but it was obviously something we couldn't do for the longest time. Unfortunately, because, uploading the map to Java breaks a whole bunch of shit, and when Belkov came along and started doing commands, we started reaching that point where commands were everywhere, and to upload it to Java would break everything.
Everything, yeah.
So it was sort of one of those things where, is it really worth it for custom terrain? Obviously now we have tools to make terrain, like we mentioned earlier in the video, but obviously version 4 is more than just the terrain, but I think the biggest part of version 4 is terrain.
Yes.
Yeah, I will agree.
And again, that's something that we wanted to do since the beginning, and just being able to have an option to do that, because I did the new versions of Hagrid's, the terrain by Hagrid's, which might be in this version. No, we don't have the updated owl.
No, nothing was done yet.
Yeah, so again, we figured out a tool for the sand dropping technique, and then I did all the terrain for the owlry, and obviously all the terrain down there. And you came up with the idea of structuring all of your commands, so we were originally going to get the terrain done in Java.
Yeah.
But the people who I asked, plans fell through. I understand, people, they don't owe me anything. I wasn't paying them to do it, so it's not like I can blame them for not doing it. It's unfortunate they
And I
didn't,
wasn't.
but
Yeah, I wasn't completely unhappy about that because structuring every command and all the commands in the map would have taken a very, very long time. So I didn't mind too much, to be honest,
yeah, no.
in hindsight.
Obviously, we got a better tool for doing larger terrain, and at that point it was like, well, I guess I'm just doing all the terrain.
Yeah, and it took a while,
It did.
but it
That
worked.
took that again. That along with like the ministry, I think, were the things that took the longest to actually make, which is crazy when you think about all the stuff we've built. But that terrain.
Yeah, because all the other stuff is like the culmination of little side projects. A project here, a project there, a little building there.
Yeah,
But the ministry itself is like a huge project.
of course.
Just like you could see Hogwarts as a singular project.
But in reality, it's like 10.
Yeah, or even more because you have a classroom here and a section there and
Yeah.
a room of requirement there.
Well, that's another thing. Like, when it comes to coming back to different things, it's sort of like you're not coming back to rebuild Hogwarts, and that's the thing that I try to tell people on multiple different platforms, that like I've seen so many people just quit building their map and just start building a new one. And I understand it, but at the same time, it's sort of like, just edit it, you know? It's so easy to edit your castle now. You know?
Yeah, I think the more you do it, the more you realize how easy it is to edit, especially with some, just you clear it out and just build that structure again.
Yeah.
So you don't have to remove everything.
Yeah, I mean, back when we redid everything, it was a lot harder to do that, but
Yeah.
as it stands now, like, just rebuilding sections. And that's the thing, like, you see something wrong now, and it's like, well, I can just rebuild it, you know, big deal. And that's
Yeah.
the reason why we just kept doing new stuff and rebuilding certain things, because not that it isn't hard, but the inspiration's always there. It's always
Yeah,
there.
that's obviously why I asked, like, you continue to build, like, even when your castle was like the wrong way. Obviously, you found out you were close to the map. Like, most people then just load up new C sort of thing, build again. Like, you
Honestly, it
just
probably
persevered.
would have been easier to do that.
Yeah, it would have been. But we wouldn't have a great story to tell if you
Yeah,
did.
no, definitely not. I'm proud that this map is stayed on the same Xbox 360 flat map that it originally was. Which is crazy. It's crazy. The first
Well,
block
I mean-
is still here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it should be. Yeah, it's still here. Of course, it's still here.
But since we're talking about version 4, we're going to go jump over to that now.
Yeah.
So obviously now we're in version 4. This isn't even version 4. This is just current version, because this is beyond version 4.
This is live.
Yeah, this is the live server. And yeah, so much has changed since version 3. Like, we have all new terrain, all this new bridge here, which I was refusing to put here for the longest time, but it's here. And the new
R.I.P.
entrance hall and the viaduct. I put so much effort into this roof. Just the roof
At
alone.
least we've still got some red carpet.
We do still have some red carpet. I can't get rid of all the red carpet. That would just be too much.
No. Yeah.
And obviously, the long gallery is still kind of the same. Most of the stuff is still pretty much the same as version
Oh yeah, we
3.
redid the carpet.
Yeah, Belkov redid the carpet. I made it a little longer, but like, there's all the new blocks and stuff now from 1.17. So like, the greenhouses have all these moss blocks, and I always forget what.
The floating green particles.
Yes, the green particles from the spore blossoms. I absolutely love those. It adds such a nice ambiance to the greenhouses. But again, like we were just saying, the terrain in this is obviously the selling point. of version 4. Gone are all of the trees masking ugly terrain, which is what I used to do. And now it's just loads of proper Scottish terrain. Which again is obviously a huge upgrade from what used to be here, and this took so long. It took so long. But at the end of it, like, I've gotten so many really nice screenshots of this map with the mountains that it's like, it's, I don't know, proper next evolution of the map. You know, because obviously, the time version 3 came around, we'd pretty much, I mean, Hogwarts is pretty much, I hate to say it's pretty much done, because I know it's not. But to a degree, anything that needs to be changed at the moment is mostly just stuff outside of Hogwarts.
Oh, not by far, I can tell you that.
But like, you know,
so many plans still to do.
Oh, of course. But like, you know, doing Hogsmeade Station felt like a breath of fresh air. Like, obviously this is the first movie's Hogsmeade Station, and it's, I don't know, I love it. I think it looks so nice. And the new spawn and new Hogsmeade, which is beautiful. And the ability to have like custom, you know, items and invisible item or armor stands and item frames, and we've really started to go all out with you know, pushing the boundaries of what we can do on a Minecraft map, I think. With the amount of commands we rely on, with, you know, custom resources and behaviors. I mean, we have flyable brooms in this version. Like, when I originally started making this map, I had no idea that doing something like this was even possible. Nor did I ever think it was feasible for me to make.
Like the broomsticks we make for the shops and stuff with like the hay and the fence posts. Yeah,
now they're actual proper broomsticks now that you can ride, and they all have different speeds, and obviously the most recent edition, which none of you guys are able to see unless you're subscribed to my Patreon, link is on my channel, is Buckbeak, who is absolutely adorable. And you can actually fly him, and he should have 2 seats. I have never tested if he has 2 seats, so we should really check that.
Yeah. Oh,
he does, but it's broken.
Whoops.
Alright, well, that's good to know at least. There is 2 seats, but he is broken.
Whee!
That's why this isn't on the live version.
At least we know where to find it, where to look for in the behavior pack.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he has actual behaviors. He's a custom entity. He can breed. He's staying with me because he's tamed to me. That's why he's rubber banding.
Ah, that's why it's not flying.
Yeah.
Oh. Where am I going?
But yeah, he has...
Oh yeah, he's following you.
He follows
nice.
you. He can attack things. He can breed to make little baby buckbeaks. He can do anything, really. It's like the idea of this just being a thing is, again, back in 2014, I never even imagined that it would be possible. there's so many things that when we look back on this map and all of the stories that we've told and all of the funny moments and, you know, burning the castle down and all that, never did I imagine back on July 14th, 2014 that we'd be standing here on August 6th, 2021, still working on this map, still bringing people along, adding things that I never would have imagined that we could have possibly ever added to this map. And the craziest thing is we're still adding stuff. We're still coming up with ideas. We're trying right now to figure out a way to make a sorting hat work. I'm learning how to make custom
indeed,
blocks. Like the ideas of this map are endless. And
let me cue the music, because you also did custom music.
well, yes, well, can't do that because copyright. But
Oh, oops, yeah, you're right. Blah, 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 blah.
but
Bloop.
we stand here now, some 7 years later, with 3 main workers and a bunch of other people who absolutely deserve the credit. That being Tom H. Magic, Brent12346, XG, you know, pretty much anybody who's ever worked on anything. Torin, of course. Like, there's so many people who have helped and contributed to this map. And I don't think, you know, had it been not for Connor, and obviously not for Belkov for pulling us out of a rut, this map probably wouldn't be as big as it is today. And we've got over 1 million downloads from all the different versions of this map, which is insane.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I get messages
like
yeah, go ahead.
Like with more Harry Potter stuff coming out, you know, like Hogwarts Legacy and stuff, we're just far from done. Like we'll be so much more inspiration with that. And obviously I don't know if you've told people publicly, but we're going to set like ourselves a challenge with building that castle in a way, like a, you know, nothing to do with this one, but yeah, like just to give ourselves that challenge of building a different Hogwarts, and we felt that'd be the coolest one.
Yeah. Can't wait.
But yeah,
It's
I should ask you guys a question now. Did you guys think originally, when you either saw this map or when you agreed to help, that you'd be still working on it so many years later? Or did you think it would ever get this many new things, or things, you know, that we've added?
Oh, I can tell you that because I got on the map that was December 2018 because of the room of requirement, and I was building it, and I was pretty convinced that once the room of requirement was done, that would be it for me. So for me, once the room of requirement was done, I just kept searching for stuff to do, because I was under the impression that, you know, if I stopped working, I would be gone. So no, at the time when I joined, I was like, I'm going to be here for a couple of weeks and then it's over. But here I am, 3 years later, almost.
I couldn't let all that.
No end in sight.
Couldn't let all that talent go to waste.
Obviously, I joined 6 months into the thing. Well, I joined January 3rd, 2015. So Minecraft was just out on Xbox One at the time, wasn't it? So it was like we were in that similar boat. We didn't know what it could turn into. You know, we had the basics of building everything by hand. I thought 2017. I thought that was actually, it was like we'd done most of it. Like we'd done a lot of the building by then. We had like London. You know, that burn. I thought that was us done. So yeah, I can't thank Belkov enough for like pulling us out of that, like, and propelling them up so far ahead. And then obviously, I still can't imagine we've got some of the stuff that we have, like butt beacons. I don't think that's real. I'm still blown away even now by the stuff we've been able to put on this map. Like,
I mean,
I think it
Belkov's
exceeds
doing Loomis right now.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, I added it. Yeah,
the wild conversations we had like late into the night and stuff. Like, I think it's even exceeded what we thought. What we hoped for is probably exceeded. I don't know if you agree with that. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
we had some crazy ideas, but somehow we've gone above them.
Yeah, we had a whole checklist of crazy ideas that we wanted to do, and we've not only done them all, but there's still stuff that we want to do that we'd never would have imagined possible, but we can do now, which is great.
Yep.
Obviously.
Like, we thought the second task was like out of our reach, you know. That was like, and it's so simple now. Like that second task there, and you know, no one probably thinks a second of it. But we just never thought that would be possible because of the height limit or distance, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and it was so easy to just put it on a remote place.
We just never imagined doing it for some reason.
Yeah, and that's with most things that sometimes you have like bright moments.
And sometimes bringing people on breathes a whole new perspective into things.
Yep. So, I'm gonna wonder what's gonna be in store for us for version 5 and version 6 and 7.
Well, we're already working on it.
Yep.
But yes, since this video is probably almost 2 hours long now, we should probably wrap things up by saying,
yeah, it's almost.
Thank you guys so much. I know I can speak for everybody else that, you know, seeing comments, YouTube videos, likes, you know, people in chat during the live streams, everybody sending messages saying that everything looks amazing, and, you know, telling everybody here who all deserve the credit that they did a great job is incredibly endearing. And, you know, it's definitely not something any of us ever take for granted. It's a very humbling experience to be able to not only showcase this map, but to give you guys downloads and have you enjoy it for yourselves. Like, it's always one thing to build a map, you know, and it's a whole nother thing when you bring people on there. 'Cause, like, it is amazing to me to see people light up looking around this map. I think it's like the most wholesome thing in the world. And that's why when we earlier talked, like, we used to give multiple tours a day, it was sort of like just a constant amount of dopamine to see people come on here and just, you know, you obviously can't see it, but their jaws hit the floor, and it's like, you know, all of the hard work and all of the late nights and the hours spent and all of that is completely worth it when you see the comments. And
the oh my god, you know, like that exclamation of oh my god never got boring. Like, so many people, it was always the same reaction to stuff, like walking the Diagon Alley or seeing the Gryffindor common room. It's like, oh my god. And it never got boring to hear that, like how people just loved it. It justified it all, I guess.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, well, obviously you two weren't there when I first went over the map myself, but my jaw hit the floor the entire time. I didn't want to stop. And I'm a grown man, so that's saying much.
Well, I wasn't a grown man. Well, I guess I was when this started, but I'm a grown man now.
I think that's the best thing as well, like the journey we've been on, like from 15, 19 to what, 22, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
It's funny now. You think, like, it's been 7 years of us working on Hogwarts, and you spent 7 years at Hogwarts. We're sort of like...
Wow, yeah.
We're sort of like graduating students in a way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the 7th year.
It is.
Actually, we are, or at least you two are graduating, or the map itself.
The map itself, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this History of Hogwarts video. I know it's long. I'll probably shorten it a little bit with editing, but for the most part, a lot of this stuff's going to be kept in because... I mean, people ask questions all the time about stuff like this, so I feel like, you know, they probably enjoy a nice long video.
Can I ask like one final question for the viewers? Obviously, I'd love to know like their first memories of this castle, like when they discovered it, when the first video, and like just what they thought of the journey they've had with watching us develop it.
Yeah,
I guess
if you have a story to tell, leave it in the comments below. We'd love to read it.
Especially if we gave a tour
definitely.
to you. If we gave a tour to you years ago, I'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's a long one, but we appreciate you and we appreciate you guys sticking around. See you in the next one.